Harry was a ringleader when he came along. He had that red hair, and it attracted a lot of people for good or worse. And uh, and I remember when he was a little boy, he was out in the country. His uncles there, they made such a fuss over Harry. You know, they liked to taunt him and get him riled up, which wasn't hard to do. But Harry, he was his own man, and he knew what he wanted. He got married, and that wasn't a good idea in my opinion. First of all, the girl that he married, I wasn't too certain about her, but. Harry had his own ideas, and he was good at anything he did. He was a good athlete. He got when he started growing up, he got he got taller than me and stronger than me. There was no doubt about it. But we loved him. And that was the same way with Harry and I. But I knew he would defend me whenever it was necessary. And Harry was, he came along just fine. And we would play football at the field there. And he got so big that I was carried the ball one time. I was surrounded by other guys, but Harry reached over them and it hit me on the shoulder. I never hit the ground so hard in all my life. And one of the guys said, "That's brotherly love for you." And that's the way it was with Harry and I. It was just we had an understanding between one another.
Dear Mrs. Spivey, having been one of Harry's best friends, I was asked to write to you. I deem it a pleasure and an honor to write to the mother of such a swell fellow. I first met Harry at Harlingen, Texas, where we both took our gunnery training. From there, as you know, we went to California and received our most welcomed furloughs. Throughout those months, our friendship grew, and I always thought of him as a very good-natured and likable fellow. Much to my surprise, upon my arrival at Tonopah, I found myself assigned to the same outfit at Tonopah. We spent many a happy day together. He was well liked by all the fellows, and I couldn't help but feel proud to say that he was a buddy of mine. We shipped to Hamilton Field, and that was the last I saw of him until I joined this outfit. It was like finding someone you had known all of your life and become attached to.
And I just can't see him washing dishes. I have finally been assigned to a squadron and can get started on my mission and work towards coming home. I sure was lucky, for I got assigned to the best outfit and has the best reputation of any Army unit in the war. They call themselves the Jolly Rogers and have a big skull and crossbones on the tail of all the ships. It is in the 5th Air Force and is blowing the... So if you read anything about either the Jolly Rogers or the 5th Air Force, you'll know I was in on it. Now, Mama, don't worry about me, for I am just as safe as I was back in the States. The only difference in being here is I'm just so far away from you. I'll close but write often, and I'll see you folks before you know it. Lots of love, your son Harry.
Mrs. Spivey. Harry's crew and my crew spent many unforgettable nights playing bridge and chess. Many of the other boys would sit around just to hear Harry say things in his jovial manner. He always joked, never have I seen him as long as I knew him to be serious more than a few minutes. He and his crew were liked, and when anyone mentioned his crew, it was always either Spivey's crew or Red's crew. On the morning of February 18th, we were awakened rather early to fly a mission to Formosa. While the officers were being briefed, we sat around and kidded one another in the manner that fellows will do. You could always tell when there was an outburst of laughter that Harry was there pitching and doing more than his share to keep the boys laughing. I was flying his right wing when we reached the target. I knew what position he was flying in the ship. At times, we would wave to one another or move our guns about in a friendly salute. Over the target, anti-aircraft fire was heavy, and suddenly we noticed that his ship, piloted by Major Porter, our commanding officer, had been hit. Major Porter tried to bring the plane back into formation. Suddenly, it seemed as if the ship lost all control and headed towards the ground. Fighters followed the ship down and reported having seen 5 parachutes open. In my opinion, Mrs. Spivey, I believe that Harry was one of the parachutists, and if he was, he may be a prisoner of war. There isn't much known about the treatment of prisoners, but the way I've been told, they are treated halfway decently.
Well, we didn't know exactly what happened till the war was over. And Lieutenant Sheridan, who was the only survivor, visited the parents of every one of these boys that were there. That's all we knew up until the war was over, because we had no communication whatsoever as to what had happened to Harry, other than the fact that his plane had been shot down, and it was reported there were about 4 or possibly 5 parachuting out. And after that, there was nothing more that we knew. And the only and we had dreams. I remember George telling me about one, and he was talking to Harry, and Harry was going somewhere, and he said, "Why can't I go with you, Harry?" He said, No, I've got to go on my own." And that just broke me down, you know. And so it was just so real for George to have a dream like that his brother Harry talked with, but Harry says, "No, you can't go with me. I've got to go alone." And that was heartbreaking.
On May 29, 1945, a mock trial with little or no defense was given to a group of American Army and Navy flyers. They were accused of causing loss of life to innocent civilians by indiscriminate bombing. The Military War Tribunal found 14 guilty, and they were subsequently sentenced to death by Japanese firing squad. On the morning of June 19, 1945, between 6 and 6:30 a.m., they were marched to the outer wall of Takihoka Prison, where the sentences were carried out. Soon afterwards, their bodies were burned and their ashes placed, along with their dog tags, in vials for future burial. It is rather impossible for us to express our sympathy as words fail us. In closing, all we can say is that you have our deepest and heartfelt condolences in the loss of your son. Sincerely yours, Milton Solomon and Wallace A. Beagley.
I don't care if it rains or freezes, as long as I got my plastic Jesus sitting on the dashboard of my car. Comes in colors pink and pleasant, glows in the dark 'cause it's iridescent. Take it with you when you travel far. Get yourself a sweet Madonna dressed in rhinestone satin on a pedestal of abalone shell. Going 90, I ain't scary, 'cause I got the Virgin Mary assuring me that I won't go to
There's not a day goes by that I don't think of Harry, and I'll grieve for him the rest of my life. There's no getting around that. I just have to live with what I've been given, and that is hope in heaven. And I'm sure if that is real, my brother Harry is there and will be there to greet me when my time has come. And that's a very comforting thought to me, that I will see Harry again. And that's about it. That's my only hope, that one day I will see Harry. Because I know he was a dedicated Christian. He was very dedicated. He would witness to others once he was converted. And he took great delight in his Christian faith. And I think it must have been that he depended on during all of this time, that he was a prisoner, that he was out of touch with his family. And we just can't imagine the horrors that he endured, because it was unspeakable. The Japanese had no regard for the Geneva Conventions. They treated you as they wanted to treat you, and that was horror in itself. And that's the story of my brother Harry.
colors pink and pleasant, glows in the dark 'cause it's iridescent. Take it with you when you travel far. Get yourself a sweet Madonna dressed in rhinestone satin on pedestal of abalone shell. Going 90, I ain't scary, 'cause I got the Virgin Mary assuring me that I won't